Presidents and UFOs. The surprising story.
There's something I can do for you, Slick.
You are a former agent of a top-secret organization that monitors extraterrestrials on Earth. We're the Men in Black. We have a situation and we need your help.
There is a free mental health clinic at the corner of Lilac and East Valley. Next.
I was at the White House with my family, and we were getting a tour, and
In East Valley. Next.
I was at the White.
Common Sense, every weekday on.
There's something I can do for you, Slick.
You are a former agent of a top-secret organization that monitors extraterrestrials on Earth. We're the Men in Black. We have a situation and we need your help.
There is a free mental health clinic at the corner of Lilac and East Valley. Next.
I was at the White House with my family, and we were getting a tour, and Barack and Michelle and Sasha and Malia.
Nice.
And it's me and Jada and the kids, and we're walking through the White House. And the night before, Jaden had said to me, "Dad, I got to ask the president about the aliens, I was like,
cool.
Dude, no, it's not cool. No,
it is cool.
It's not cool. It's embarrassing.
You have to take that opportunity.
So we get into the situation room, and Jaden gets the look in his eyes, and he leans over, he says, "Dad, what's my punishment?" And I was like, Jaden, do not. So he looks, and, Barack is talking about the situation room, and Jaden says, "Excuse me, Mr. President." And I was like, "Hey, Barack, man, hey, listen, Jaden. And Barack said, "Don't tell me." And in perfect form, like, this is why he's the president, he stopped and looked at Jaden and said, "The aliens, right?"
Truth is that when I came into office, I asked, right? I was like, all right, is there the lab somewhere where we're keeping the alien specimens in spaceship? They did a little bit of research, and the answer was no.
Winter, 1777, Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. While praying in the woods, Washington suddenly came face to face with a mysterious floating presence, which laid out a vast plan for the future of America. "Son of the Republic, look and learn," the alien vision commanded Washington. "As long as the stars remain and the heavens send down dew upon the earth, so long shall the Union last." Washington interpreted the stranger's words as a sign of his destiny. A reinvigorated Washington then rallied his troops and prevailed in the War for Independence. Then there's the painting of Washington with mysterious flying objects and a depiction of Jacob's ladder in the background. But instead of ascending to heaven, as in the biblical account, the ladder emanates from a saucer-shaped craft, emitting laser-like beams. Does it suggest Washington interacted with, or was even abducted and studied by, alien beings? April 5th, 1800. Astronomer William Dunbar watched in amazement as a magnificent luminous object the size of a house hovered in the night sky above Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
One of the witnesses brought this to the attention of Thomas Jefferson, and this got written up into formal proceedings of the American Philosophic Society.
This was perhaps the first official government acknowledgement of a UFO, but hardly the last.
President after president after president, either seeing a UFO, commenting on a UFO, being associated with a sighting. Some will be true, some will have a mixture of truth and falsehood. Now, our job as researchers and investigators is to try and untangle that, to sort out the fact from the fiction.
Does our government keep information away from the public? I mean, that is a great question. We've been asking that for over 6 decades. Jimmy Carter, he was speaking at a Lions Club event, and he was outside with a group of probably 20 people, And one of the people in the group looked up and saw an object that was 30 degrees on the horizon line.
I was in a small South Georgia town one night outside the schoolhouse waiting to eat supper and to talk to them. And all of us, there were 26 men, I believe, saw a very bright light in the west.
It was a genuine UFO in that it was an unidentified flying object, but I have never thought and still don't think that it's possible for, creatures from Mars. UFO in that
western sky.
And one of the people in the group looked up and saw an object that was 30 degrees on the horizon line.
I was in a small South Georgia town one night outside the schoolhouse waiting to eat supper and to talk to them. And all of us, there were 26 men, I believe, saw a very bright light in the western sky.
We were all aghast. We didn't know what it was. And then it just disappeared into the west. That was the end of it. So it was a genuine UFO in that it was an unidentified flying object, but I have never thought and still don't think that it's possible for, creatures from Mars to come here and visit us and go back home.
And he actually, and this is really cool, he actually filed a report with NICAP, which was a really important body back in the 60s and 70s.
While running for president, Carter pledged to release any hidden government UFO files to the public. However, once elected, President Carter walked it back, citing national security. The trail of documented cases of unidentified flying objects hushed up by the government was piling higher and higher, and the next big thing was right around the corner.
If you've been in an accident that wasn't your fault, well, your
Just pay a small shipping and handling.
Surprising story. April 14, 1865, President Lincoln confessed to General Ulysses S. Grant, a future president himself, of intense, recurring premonitions. UFO historians, however, believe extraterrestrials were communicating with Lincoln through his dreams.
Abraham Lincoln was a complex character who did seem to have a degree of belief in the power of dreams and sometimes precognitive dreams, premonitions, visions. It's widely reported that he had at least one, maybe more, visions of his own death. And this may have given, like many people who have visions, may have given him a sense of destiny. Whether Lincoln's dreams and visions and premonitions had a role in this, had a role in perhaps shaping the destiny of the United States and the outcome of the Civil War or not, I don't know. But he seems to have believed in a lot of that.
A week after winning the war with the South and fulfilling his destiny, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. August 1st, 1907. On Long Island, New York, a spectacular UFO sighting occurred, with dozens witnessing the bizarre spectacle. What's more, it happened at the home of none other than President Teddy Roosevelt.
There was a UFO incident in 1907 which involved President Theodore Roosevelt, and the sighting happened over his residence at Oyster Bay in New York.
You've got a very interesting period in the history of our country, and you've got a lot of things going on with foreign adversaries. And so what was it that we were seeing, and was there a need to create a cover for some more covert operations that were going on to try to figure out what potentially could be flying in our airspace?
As Roosevelt worked on a crucial address to Congress on America's influence overseas, neighbors reported seeing a huge ball of light hovering in the air for over 2 hours.
Lots of witnesses, huge, bright light hovering a few hundred feet above the ground. Really spectacular, completely unexplained.
Were these incidents somehow linked?
We needed to be that world power. Was that because of UFOs? I think the jury could go either way on that.
Many believe that this had a profound effect on him, and that perhaps it opened his eyes and opened his mind to the fact that there might be higher powers at work. And what do you do if confronted by perhaps something more powerful than yourself? You build up your own military. And many believe that what transpired a few months later, when particularly on the naval side, Roosevelt decided to massively expand the military might of the United States. People believe that there is a connection between that and this UFO sighting that in some way may have shaped Roosevelt's worldview.
In the end, Roosevelt's speech laid out a plan to modernize American forces, turn Pearl Harbor into a world-class naval base, and become the world's #1 superpower. After the December 7, 1941 surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, Southern Californians were on edge due to their proximity to Japan. Many were convinced they were likely to be attacked next. February 25, 1942, only 3 months after Pearl Harbor, a truly unexplainable event sent Los Angeles into a nightmarish frenzy.
The unidentified object moved slowly down the Pacific coast from Santa Monica and disappeared south of Long Beach. Army officials declined to comment.
The invader appeared as an immense saucer-shaped craft, or Foo Fighter, as UFOs were regularly called at the time.
Just a few weeks after Pearl Harbor, all this came to a head in something called the Battle of Los Angeles. And sure enough, something appeared over Los Angeles, and all the anti-aircraft guns opened fire on it. The searchlights were fired into the sky, and there's an iconic picture that I think appeared in the Los Angeles Times, showing this object, whatever you call it, a Foo Fighter, a UFO, flying saucer, captured in the beams of the searchlight. And the military were firing at this thing for hours, trying to bring it down. Captured in the beams of the searchlight. And the military were firing at this thing for hours, trying to bring it down.
Despite taking dozens of direct hits, the craft seemed impervious to the barrage and slowly disappeared back over the Pacific Ocean. It was the most sensational and mass UFO encounter ever. But the U.S. Navy quickly announced that the so-called Battle of L.A. was a false alarm. UFO historians say the U.S. was receiving alien assistance with technology for developing the bomb, and the President of the United States was at the center of it. An unearthed top-secret memo dated February 24, 1944, written by President Franklin Roosevelt himself, stated that non-terrestrial know-how in atomic energy must be used in perfecting super weapons of war.
A state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
On August 6, 1945, the U.S. dropped the first atom bomb on the Japanese city of Hiroshima.
Some believe that it was the detonation in anger of atomic bombs that put planet Earth on the radar, so to speak, with extraterrestrials.
In the summer of 1947, shocking news accounts of a flying saucer crashing in Roswell, New Mexico, made headlines around the world. The golden age of UFO discovery was upon us.
I have solar and a power wall, I get to control all that. I like the independence. During the day, when the cost of energy is lower, the solar runs the house. When the cost of energy is higher, the power wall runs the house. It automatically knows when to do it.
The last bill was a minus $64.83, but look at the credit for the years to date, $492.82. I feel great.